A countertenor is a voice type of male singers that sing higher than a tenor. So it is the highest of male voice types. And it is kind of an umbrella term that includes any kind of singing that is above tenor register. So au contre, especially in French Baroque repertoire, that would also categorize under countertenor. And within the countertenor vocal register or Fach, there are a huge variety of voices. So you can find coloratura soprano voice, you can find a contralto, really, really low voice. But when you first hear a countertenor, you would think, oh, is this a guy or is this a woman? And that's what a countertenor is. Normally, a countertenor range can extend anywhere from like the G below a middle C up to E, F, about 2 octaves above that. So, so this is a G, this is a middle C, and an octave higher. So those around there, 2 octave range is where most countertenors would sing. A lot of countertenors usually, well, English ones especially, come from choral singing background, and they sing as boy sopranos, and then once their voices break, then they would experiment with countertenor voices as well as other modal voice types like tenor, bass, baritone. But me personally, I come from a church singing background, but not choral kind of tradition church, but more contemporary side of the church singing. And I also really loved Beyonce, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey growing up. And I actually discovered what a countertenor is when I went to university and went to see a performance of Julius Caesar at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. It was this magical thing. And I had to go to my singing teacher at the time and ask her what this was and if I could try it because I can sing Whitney Houston on pitch. And we went from there and developed my strong falsetto head voice singing into an operatic voice type. History of countertenor voice and countertenor operatic roles. There always has been countertenor singing, so really, really high male singing, incorporating falsetto and head voice in English song traditions from 400 years ago. And also in Italy and in Europe, you had these castrati singers who were men with snip snip, who were able to retain their treble voices from youth into their adulthood because women weren't allowed in churches to sing. And that's how they had really, really high, beautiful, pure singing closer to God. Fast forward many, many years and we come to 1960s when Benjamin Britten wrote the part of Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream for a very specific countertenor named Alfred Deller. And he was actually one of the very first to coin the term countertenor. And he brought this countertenor singing into an operatic stage. And from there, we have other countertenors like Russell Oberlin and a few years later, James Bowman. And these guys just really turned countertenor singing from choral tradition into operatic tradition. Yeah, countertenor singing voice, very short history, about 50, 60 years on operatic stages. Some of my favorite roles are not necessarily considered as countertenor roles, but Sesto in La Clemenza di Tito, Cherubino, what I'm singing right now at the Opera House, Idamante, I just love Mozart, but also Orlovsky from Die Fledermaus. It has been sung by countertenors many, many times. First one, I think, being Johann Kowalski, one of my favorites. And other famous countertenors, Filip Jaruzelski, super famous, Max Emanuel Cencic, Brian Azawa. There are just so many names. I'll try to do some, Spotify, best of countertenors. I Know a Bank. It's got this really beautiful light orchestration so that Alfred Deller's voice could just come out, and I don't have that voice, but I know a bank where the wild thyme grows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows. I don't know the words. I don't sing this. And what else? Orfeo from Orfeo e Euridice by Gluck. Very often done with countertenors. Che farò senza Euridice? Dove andrò senza il mio ben? Che farò? Dove andrò? Che farò senza il mio ben? Dove andrò senza il mio ben? Ombra mai fu, super famous, also known as Handel's Largo. Ombra mai fu di vegetabile, cara ed amabile, suave più. The famous Voi che sapete. Voi che sapete che cosa è amor, donne vedete sì ullo nel cor, donne vedete sì ullo nel cor. Crude furie from Zerse, one of my favorite roles. Crude furie degli orridi abissi, aspergetemi, aspergetemi, aspergetemi da Troveleno. Aspergetemi, crude furie degli orridi abissi, aspergetemi da Troveleno, da Troveleno. Like I said earlier, the countertenor register can encompass anything from like a coloratura soprano to a contralto. I consider myself as a hashtag mezzosopranist, hashtag, because, you know, the term sopranist is used for male sopranos, but I do not necessarily consider myself as a soprano, but slightly lower in the mezzo soprano register, so I like to call myself mezzosopranist. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something about the countertenor voice, a little about me. This has been Kangmin Justin Kim, hashtag mezzosopranist. Thank you.